Here live on WMEX, your friend Ben here with you, and we are coming to you live, not only here on 1510 AM, 101.1 FM Quincy, and online at WMEXBoston.com, but live on Saugus TV as well, preparing for the Saugus Memorial Day Parade right here live in Saugus, on Saugus TV, matter of fact, and you can go ahead and check that out, saugustv.org. Excellent. And folks, again, we're just getting ready for the parade to make its way through. Step off was about 15 minutes ago, Rick, and this is going to be a beautiful day. The clouds are passing right to our north. We got a little bit of sunshine on our side. I think Mother Nature is going to smile on this one.
I think it is. I appreciate that because we stepped out this morning and heard that report, and I'm like, oh boy. But it'll be a day, and we've got the weather. It's broken, and come on out and enjoy it because, folks, there's a lot of hard work that goes into putting this parade together. And we need the people to step out, come up, show us, let us know that you enjoy it. Please, because the veterans do work very hard to put this together, as well as all the community groups that join us.
Of course, and
can't happen without them.
It cannot happen without the groups. That is absolutely correct. And we are going to be going through float by float, group by group, parade by parade, vehicle by vehicle in as most cases as we can. And this is just a wonderful day to be a part of the community and be able to share these beautiful moments with people as they remember their family, their friends, their loved ones, and folks that are no longer with us that served the United States of America. And we, the people. Of course, Alfred DeFranzo is a Medal of Honor recipient, one of the most famous here in town, and Rick, you know, his family still to this day lives in town.
They do, and as a matter of fact, I know the family. One of my kids grew up with hers, and Jackie Zell, and I to this day I still speak with her when I can, and yes, they are involved. And there was a museum that just opened down in Arlington, Texas. It's the Medal of Honor Museum, and he was one of the people that was featured in that museum there. I have not had the opportunity to go down since it's been completed. I was down last year and looked at it, and I was thinking, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to get it done. And they certainly did, and they did have the grand opening. And so if you're in the Dallas or Arlington area, stop by at the Medal of Honor Museum. I think you'll greatly enjoy it. A lot of information there. And what you said, Mr. DeFranzo, is part of the display there.
Absolutely, and deservingly so,
Absolutely.
giving that last full measure of resolve to we the people. And that is something that is the theme of the day. Everyone that served should be remembered. And folks, I think kind of forget, Rick, the differences between some of these veteran-specific holidays. I know somebody said to me yesterday, oh, happy Veterans Day. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yes.
It's not Veterans Day. Veterans Day is for the living. Those are for the brave souls still with us.
That's correct.
Memorial Day specifically is for those who are here under the drape of Old Glory. And the tears and memories that surround them is what keeps that flag moving every single day. As we look upon the War Monument right behind us here in Saugus, you can see those flags fluttering in the wind. It's not wind. That is actually the breath of every American serviceman and women that have ever served.
I love that. That's
It's a good way to put it.
Yes.
And that's exactly the vibe here right now. And again, we're just waiting for the parade to come on through. It has already begun. Anna Parker Playground is where they stepped off from. And folks, you can join along on the app WMEX Boston. Download it for free wherever you are in the free world, whether you're right here in Saugus or anywhere across New England. We are still waiting for the arrival of the parade at this point. We did get word that it is successfully underway, and we are eagerly awaiting. So, Rick, as we get back into the swing of things here, we're waiting for Wave 1, and that's going to be an awful lot of dignitaries, a lot of military vehicles. Wind Waste Innovations is going to be on hand with that brand new electric trash truck they got here. You've seen that thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's red. It's big and red. It's big and red. It is 100% electrically powered, and it is something that is coming that they've brought to the city. And there are some changes coming to our waste facility, so it is a pleasure to have them, and they are a strong sponsor financially as well as
just community-based
community-based and everything. But they step right up and help us every year. They're one of the reasons we're able to put this parade on.
Oh, that is wonderful. And as we're looking through some of these newspapers here in town, we want to go through. This is the Saugus Advocate that was so lovingly dropped off, a couple of copies to us here today as we get ready for the festivities. And Rick, we had a couple of really cool things. This year's keynote speaker, Wakefield native Shelby Nikitin, former naval commander of the guided missile destroyer USS Thomas Hudner, will address the crowd during the ceremony at the Riverside Cemetery following the end of the parade here today. And folks, that will be on Saugus TV. You can catch that one on the second spin. But folks are just piling in right now at the War Memorial, and this is a beautiful sight. The weather is certainly holding on our side. Want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all the volunteers that are making this happen across the town, especially to the Saugus Police Department, doing a fantastic job of just trying to corral everybody while we keep this excitement going for this parade. But again, we don't want to miss the real point here, folks. This isn't a party. It's not necessarily a celebration, but it is a celebration of life and remembrance. Exactly it. And we talked a little bit about what that means to this community. As folks, again, just continue to pile in here, it's really great to see. The music that we play here on WMEX, of course, very veteran-friendly, always keeping them in our minds no matter what. Even though they have specific days to honor specific veterans and groups, every day is a good day to thank a veteran. Isn't that right?
Yes, it is, except today.
Except today, when we remember.
Please don't walk up to someone and thank them today for their service. This is not the day for that. Okay.
Unless we're in the cemetery and you're going up to the headstones.
And you're going up to the headstones. Yes, thank you. Just a quick note.
Yes.
On the keynote speaker today, which we said was Shelby Nikitin, the Thomas Hudner. Well, we had the privilege of actually having Thomas Hudner here as a speaker at one of our former Memorial Day parades. So this is kind of another segment to this whole history.
Well, that is very impressive. I wasn't aware of that. And of course, obviously, the Saugus Veterans Council does a lot in town to keep these events going, as well as the VFW, the Legion, all these posts around town here. Doing a great job.
And let's not forget the Elks, because the Saugus Everett Elks does a lot for the veterans as well. They host several dinners and things for the veterans. They're also very active with the Chelsea Soldiers Home, and inviting them over, making sure that they're taken care of. At Christmas time, they take over gifts and things like that for them. So yes, they do a lot. There are a lot of organizations. Saugus is, I would say, a very veteran-centric town. Okay, we have a lot of veterans. We probably have about 1,200 veterans just in this town, of a population of 2,500 people, or 25,000 people, excuse me. Maybe 26, 27. I don't know exactly what the numbers are.
Give or take the census every now and again.
Yes, give or take the census. But still, we have a large number. Not as many active as we'd like. We'd love to have more of the veterans that are still with us to come down to our meeting once a month at the American Legion Hall. And it's the first Monday at 7 o'clock, every first Monday of the month, every month. We'd love to have any veteran or any veteran supporter come down and join us.
Absolutely. And even if folks are not veterans themselves, or they are sons or daughters of veterans, there are organizations that would be more than honored to have your support and your time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything we could do to get some more volunteers on board to keep this thing going. And like I said, this parade turns out to be a lot of work. It's only done by a few people, though. We'd like to have, so we can always use more volunteers.
Always room for more
step
volunteers.
Up, and we'd love to have you as a member of our Saugus Council.
Commander Doolittle said it best. There is no fighting force and spirit more worthy than that of a volunteer. And that stands true not only just World War II, but all the way up to today as well. Look at us, matter of fact, out here as volunteers. So, folks, again, we're just waiting for the parade to reach this part of town. We are pretty much at the end of the line as we get ready for the Riverside Cemetery ceremony, because you can say that 10 times fast. And, folks, again, this is happening right in front of the Riverside Cemetery, in front of the War Memorial. That's where this particular broadcast is happening from. Your friend Ben Rabenovitz alongside Rick Vale, and a Saugus native as well as Navy veteran. Oh, you've lived here for more than 20 years. You're a native. Come on, man.
All right.
But that's what it's all about here, folks. The sunshine. Look at that. Just day and night. Went from dark clouds and gloomy situations to happy-dappy all over again.
That's just displaying the magic of your music, man.
That's got to be what it is. You know, we asked the music gods for some sunshine, and they responded.
Yes,
that
they
is
did.
always cool.
So come on out, folks. Come on out. It's not too late.
That's right.
I look around. We've got a large crowd here gathering at the War Memorial. This is also known as Evans School for some people that didn't know that this is has been renamed Veterans Park in the last 2 years.
This is Veterans Park. All right.
And it is located at the Evans School.
That is wonderful, and such a great representation. The town really has done a great job of putting this together and making it such a vibrant memorial.
Now, these large memorials here were all donated by families and businesses in the community. And yes, they are dedicated to some of their own family members, but it made it really special to go up and see that their name is on some of these. And we have a memorial for each one, starting back all the way to the Civil War. I don't think you're represented here for the back of your day, but I think we've got the Civil Wars to fight.
Well, I believe that is the first point here, and you know, the American Revolution, as we all know, those were America's very first veterans. They were the people who weren't sure what was going to happen, and when you take on the mightiest empire in the world at that time for liberty, freedom, and justice, it tends to work in your favor, I find.
It does. All right, well, like I said, I am starting to see a little bit of action coming up. We have the Saugus Police Escort, and then we have the Saugus Police. I think that's a 65 Ford Galaxy.
Oh, my. So, folks, the parade now officially here and present. This is what it's all about. The police escort from Saugus, that is who is leading the way, and you'll hear those sirens and those chirps right now. Car 7A leading the way.
There goes
Car 66.
Galaxy 500, that's what that is.
That's a beauty. Our very first entry here today, Saugus Police Department, waving Old Glory. Thank you for the Saugus Police Department's commitment to today's festivities and every day for keeping this community safe.
Yes, I do want to give a shout out to the Saugus Police. They've been very supportive of our organizations for years to come, and but they're always here. They're always showing up for us, and we really appreciate their help and assistance in this parade.
Right behind them, we are looking at that. Well, you called it. It is the Big Red Machine. It is the Wind Waste Innovations electric trash truck. This is a state-of-the-art piece of equipment here, and not only are they taking care of all of the trash here in this area, but doing it with a futuristic tone. There's one way to recycle, but to almost do it instantaneously, now that's impressive.
It is. This is a great setup that they have, and they've been servicing the Saugus now for many, many years. And they did sell to another company. It was JRM. It's now, I believe, Republic. But they are still, Wind Waste is still part of all of that. And no, excuse me, Wind Waste is not part of the trash pickup. Excuse me, I just realized that's not correct. But Waste Innovations is the one that handles. They take all of our waste, even some of the Boston waste, and they actually incinerate it and turn it into energy.
That is impressive. And look at this. It's got an electric diesel engine right on it. It's all him. Performance for the planet. And they've got their fuzzy furry friend up front.
Yes, he does.
It is very much approved right here on WMEX. Folks, I wish you could see this 100% electric vehicle adorned with Old Glory on every possible facade, every possible angle. It's a real treat to see this. And of course, right behind them, we're looking right at it. It is the Stewart Highlanders Pipe Band coming up in just a moment with the media truck from Beantown Advertising right behind them as they make the corner here at the War Memorial. And again, folks, just lined up along the sidewalks here in Saugus as you hear some of the ceremonial volleys going off in the distance. They'll be approaching real quick. Saugus TV will have all that coverage for you, by the way, so you're going to have to check that out, saugustv.org.
Ben, let's talk about this truck just a minute, okay? We have the Beantown Enterprises that provides this truck for us each year, and it is a full video screen truck, and they take pictures and memorial from people from Saugus, and we place them on this. They're part of the video. They're part of the history that goes along.
It's a beautiful
And
LED wall.
The LED wall is just beautiful. Okay, we have the World War II reenactors coming through now.
They are, of course, representing the 101st Airborne Division, and they are sporting those, what are those, M1s right there? Those are looking pretty good, if I didn't say so. 82nd Airborne Division.
Airborne.
I've been
Correct.
corrected. Thank you very much for that. Fire in
Fire
the
in the
hole!
hole!
You can hear the casings hit the
And
ground.
we have the Grand Marshal arriving.
the Grand Marshal
Mr.
himself.
Gene Decaro.
It is the same Gene Decaro, Korean War veteran, and quite frankly, local hero.
Yes, he is.
My goodness, the Grand Marshal, well represented here today, firing wildly into the air. Look at that guy go. Now that is a celebration fit for a true American
Look at the smile
hero.
on that man's face.
Gene Decaro, the man, the myth, and the legend of
Yes, he is.
Saugus, Massachusetts. What an honor to see him. And how old is he now? My goodness.
94.
94 years young. Look at him. And he's driving, that is an original Jeep right there. Notes out there. Well, we have an armored transport personnel carrier. They've got 3 men on top of the 50 cal ready to roll. The 82nd Airborne
don't wanna
certainly
mess
don't
with
play
them.
around. Oh my.
And then we have a Desert Storm truck.
We sure do. It is labeled military vehicle, but as we know, that is one of the ones that gets things done in the sandbox.
Yes, it is.
With that tire size right there, what gauge do you think that is? My goodness, I don't think that would fit on my truck.
Maybe that's enough rubber in that probably to put all tires, 2 tires in your truck with just one.
Just one tire, that's right. Oh, I don't love it. The sunshine is pouring down on us here today as this parade is continuing right along. It's so wonderful to see Gene Decaro and the big smile on his face. It's just really one of the big moments in life for him.
You know, I was at the meeting where we decided who we were going to have asked to be the Grand Marshal. And we typically try to make it one of our older veterans. But when Gene's name came up, there was a unanimous vote, immediate, like, yes, that's it. That's the one we want. Gene does so much for this community. He's been involved many, many years in just about everything. He has business here. He played football here as a child. He says he has some football stories.
I believe he
I bet he
does.
does. And he has a beautiful wife, Arlene. He couldn't do any of it without her. She is just a wonder.
The Daughters
And
of the
here comes
American Revolution.
No, this is the Gold Star lady.
With the Gold Star.
Garstone Mothers.
Mothers, that's
Okay.
right. One of our fine
Riding with
organizations.
Elvis.
That's literally Elvis, that's right. And what a beauty of a car. That's a Bel Air if I've ever seen one.
1957, I believe it is.
Baby. Junior ROTC group coming through from Salem. Fort Guard 2 banner and all under Lieutenant Colonel Grace. It's always good to see the Junior ROTC programs strong in 2025, honoring our veterans. That is the way to be. As you can hear behind us coming up, it looks like those pipes have made it after all, Rick.
Yes, they did. This is the Highland.
The Stewart Highlanders Pipe
Stuart
Band.
Pipe Band out of Wilmington, Mass. This is the first year we've had them. I know Commander was very adamant. He has been trying to find us a bagpipe and drum corps to march. And he went out of his way to really find them.
Take a listen to this. As those caissons go marching along.
Isn't that beautiful music? And now we have the Saugus veterans and also our speaker, our speaker for the day.
Saugus Veterans
Saugus
Council,
Veterans
the
Council. We have
VFW,
the
Commander
VFW.
McDonald on hand. Everybody here with us today. What a wonderful showing.
We have the VSO with us today.
Paul's
Thank
in
you.
the house. There he is.
And from the Capitol. Huh?
You can do it right now. We have a Purple Heart combat wounded vet right behind you. This
Yes,
is
that's Lester
amazing.
Moskowitz.
And a friend of the Marine Corps
Don
here.
Jacobs.
Don Jacobs on that trike wheel. Look at this bike right here, all red, adorned with Old Glory. You're just not going to get any better than that. A couple of support vehicles here on hand as well. Gold Star families, they were wonderful. The Saugus Senior Center, which was also doing runs this morning, getting everybody transported front and back and forth. Saugus Senior Center can be reached at 781-231-4178 with some family members walking behind them. A wonderful showing.
The Saugus Senior Center provides us the bus to transport the veterans that can't walk or march with us, so happy to have them.
And now, of course, all the way from Hingham, Massachusetts, the Hingham Militia, Major General Benjamin Lincoln's personal guard has made the trek all the way from the South Shore here to Saugus. And they're going to halt right here in front of us. Take a listen to this, folks.
Right face! Order your flintlock! Order your flintlock! Poise your flintlocks! Handle your cartridge!
While they are loading here, we'll just give you a little outframe of how this looks. All of our militia covered in their continental blue line coats with the white trim as they load their brown Bess muskets. And worth noting, their drummer is graduating high school soon, and he is committed to the United States Marine Corps on top of all that. Listen to this.
Bolt back! Make ready! Take aim! Fire!
And a huzzah to one and to all, the Hingham Militia here at the Saugus Memorial Day Parade.
Poise your flintlocks! Left face!
What better way to honor our veterans
March!
than quite literally with the original veterans. Thank you very much for your call. Captain Kevin Donovan marching along with the group. Oh, I love it. Gotta love it. The Hingham Militia here at the Saugus Parade. DAR float is up next. Daughters of the American Revolution. And they are being reorganized. They were reorganized in 2020 during COVID. Parson Joseph Roby was in Revolutionary War, was in the War of Saugus, carried a Bible and a rifle. He was known as the Fighting Parson. He took 62 to fight in April 19, 1775 to the call of the Lexington Green. God bless our DAR, and thank you for what you're doing for the community. And of course, we've got plenty more junior ROTC coming through. This is a wonderful showing here today. And my goodness, well, looks like we're on to wave 2 already. That was the Lynn Junior ROTC Color Guard under Sergeant Major Beto. As they flip through all those muskets, man, that takes some pretty good skill, Rick.
Yes, these kids, I'm telling you, are some of the most dedicated to this, to their project. One of the most successful programs in the state.
We're into the officials and the guests here on wave 2 of our parade of 4 in total. And again, Lynn Junior ROTC Color Guard coming through. The numbers of this program, absolutely impressive.
All right, let me throw something out there. They were designated as a Naval Honor School, one of the top 20 in the nation. For 26 consecutive years, they've held that position.
26 years.
In 2025, they won every drill competition in the state of Massachusetts. They were one of 9 Marine Corps schools to compete at the Marine Corps National Competition and took 2nd place overall. How about it? And now we have the Saugus
Police,
fire. We have our selectmen. We have Selectman Cassie. We have our state rep, Selectman Cagliano. Selectman Riley, Town Manager Scott Crabtree, and then followed by the McCann Band.
The McCann Marching Band doing a fantastic job. You can't let a little rain stop you on a beautiful day like this. And although Mother Nature is seeing it fit to give us a little bit extra, no worse for the wear. The McCann Marching Band is comprised of high comprised of high school, collegiate, and professional musicians. And you can just hear it.
They're based out of Gardner, Mass. Lifetime award-winning marching band specializing in patriotic and golden age and modern march music. Glad to have them.
Beauty. Now we're moving right along to the Lions Club float, dispensing some candy as they can, waving Old Glory from the side of a beautiful blacked-out Denali truck. Got you covered on that one. And the Lions waving it one and all because, hey, we got to have good Lions. The International Lions Club, been around for a long, long time, doing a magnificent job supporting the community. We just got lollipop bombed, I think.
Yeah, we did.
I love it. Wish you got that one on TV, but I think they did. Saugus TV's got that.
And next we have the
Elks Association
from Saugus. Commander is, our leader is Mr. Let me get that right.
Right here, he's actually a former radio guy. We were talking with him a little bit earlier this morning. They have their drug awareness program at elks.org. Folks, you can take a look at that and get everything on.
Steve Darty. That's the name.
Steve Darty, there we go.
That's the
Saugus Everett Law, the Elks Lodge 642, also on hand.
Now we have the Peabody ROTC.
Oh, this is wonderful. Peabody JROTC Color Guard and Cadets under Master Sergeant Lansing, right behind them.
They also have had many accomplishments and awards and gone to all service nationals the past 3 years. They have a female team that is a national champion.
That is amazing. Here's the very own Saugus High School Band under the direction of Justin Jones. And right behind them, the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts.
And the Girl Scouts and the
Girl
Daisies.
Scouts.
And,
the Scouts of America.
Yes.
That's how we are these days, and I absolutely love it. Green, blue, teal, dark blue, navy blue, and that tan color shirt. It's always a good time. Some more of our youth groups here from Saugus, marching right in front of the Beverly Junior ROTC group. Moving right along here. Again, under Major Gatto, Master Sergeant Miller also in charge of that. Beverly Junior ROTC, well represented here today. Just listen to this music. This is something, man. Rick, this is what it's all about, honoring our fallen veterans on Memorial Day. And it's just so patriotic. It gets the blood going to see all these young people embracing the memory of those veterans.
It truly is. It truly is. Today we have coming up. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. We have the special vehicles. Look at this fire department from New York. Look, what is that? A 1932?
I don't even know what that is. But I love the sign in front of us here. We will never forget our veterans. And that is an important message here today from the New York Fire Department in memory of the victims of September 11th, 2001. That truck came from Middleton, Massachusetts. Look at this. I'm not even sure what kind of car that is. It's not on my list here, but that is from the Guy Molly in the vintage car. And whoop, 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 whoop. Rick's trying to walk away with a wire here. These are the vintage cars and trucks, and there is no shortage of such. Look at this one, little GT. Is that what that is?
That's a Monte Carlo.
A Monte Carlo.
I believe it's 72. Don't quote me on that, but I think
that's a beauty right there. And again, just a collection of vintage cars, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Nantasket Beach Car Show. Ah, but I love that sound, don't you?
Absolutely.
Folks, again, you can catch all this action visually, saugustv.org. Probably by tomorrow morning, I would think, as these classic cars continue to roll. There's that Monte Carlo you were talking about. Now we're talking.
I think we have a couple of members of the Monte Carlo Club here with us today.
Oh, we sure do. 1, 2, at least 2.
These super sports.
This is an absolutely beautiful collection.
All of these vehicles come to us absolutely volunteer their time, everything. There's no compensation. This is all done by Mr. Guy Moley, who is a wonderful asset, and you'll find him at just about any car show on the North Shore. You'll find Guy Moley there.
And more
step up
trucks.
and say hello and tell him thank you for doing what he does for the town and the veterans.
Gotta love that all these trucks are accompanied with fuzzy furry friends. We can't forget on Memorial Day especially all of the combat animals, whether that be pigeons, horses, dogs. There were so many that were used and served valiantly. I think specifically of Sergeant Stubbs, served in World War I. I believe he was even promoted to the rank of colonel at one time.
Yeah. And check this out. This is action. This emergency management team. They boarded up whatever after emergency management fire or flood. But man, have they brought some vehicles today. We got everything from a little smart car
This
to
is
a ladder truck of all emergency fire truck ladder.
Just listen to this. Action emergency management.
And they take this vehicle out to honor all the veterans. As you see, there's the insignia of each and every service on the side of their truck. And they are honoring all retired, active, and veterans. And they do a great job. Look at that beautiful truck with signs of freedom on that.
Every branch, including the Space Force, even made it on.
Yes, the Space Force is on there. Coast Guard.
Now there's 6. And I love the homage to the Vietnam veterans, the Korean veterans, right there on the side of the truck. A beautiful ride. Now look at this, the heavy rescue truck. This is the thing that rescues the rescue.
Yes.
If I could explain to you how thick that hydraulic pipe is, folks, it's probably 2.5 feet across. And those horns are on light mode. I would not want to see them otherwise.
Brasco Oil, all of their trucks have some type of signature like this.
Serving those who serve.
Right. And they do a tremendous job. Well, Ben, it looks like our parade has concluded.
Well, seeing as we have 3 more representatives from the Saugus Police Department, and I see an MBTA bus right behind them, folks, that does conclude our coverage of the parade as they file into the Riverside Cemetery. We are going to make our transition over there to join them for that cemetery. But you have been listening to a very special broadcast of the Saugus Memorial Day Parade, and you've been watching it on Saugus TV. You can find the information online, saugustv.org, and WMEXBoston.com. On behalf of all of the veterans and the families and friends being remembered today, from my partner Rick Vale, thank you so much for joining us. My name is your friend Ben Rubenovitz on WMEX, and we will see you next time.
Morning, everybody. And thank you for coming out today, as we do every year, to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. I was thinking this morning, I remember the old days when Memorial Day was warm and Veterans Day was cold. What happened? And it wasn't supposed to rain today either. So I don't know what's going on with the weather, but we're here, and I'm glad you're all with us. Thanks so much. Sergeant Major, parade the colors. If I could have everybody in front of one of the graves to lift your flag out of the holder. As our chaplain, Lieutenant Colonel Bob LaRoe, U.S. Army, retired, does our invocation. Chaplain. Uncover.
Let us pray. Lord of hosts, we stand surrounded by flags atop the graves of patriots on this hallowed ground. We recall the ultimate price paid for freedom. You have shown us how sacrifice and loss precede liberty. Our thoughts go to those who bravely died to preserve our world from barbaric terrorism and hatred. May our American model of liberty and tolerance, governed by fairness and equality, impress all who live under varying forms of tyranny and oppression. This morning we honor our fallen military men and women, and we personally commit to keeping the cause for which they died alive and well. All this we pray in your strong and mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Cover. Thank you, Chaplain. I'd like to call forward Todd Angeli, who's going to sing our national anthem, and I'm sure many of you recognize Todd as the voice of the national anthem for the Boston Bruins. Todd?
What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars rode the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Eddie, Ollie, Eddie, Ollie, Ollie.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. No, there'll be no puck drop now, so forget about that. Okay.
Eddie, Harry,
Before we get rolling, I want to recognize some of the folks with us today. First, Senator Brendan Creighton. Where's Brendan? Oh, there you are. You're hiding behind Donald, huh? Do you want to say a couple of words, Brendan? Okay, all right. We have Representative Jessica Giannino. Jessica, thank you. Representative Donald Wong from the Board of Selectmen, Chairman Deborah Panetta. Oh, there you are in the back, okay. Anthony Cogliano, Corrine Riley, and Mike Serino. We have town manager. Did I leave Ciccolini out? Sorry, Jeff. I always leave somebody out. I did it to Peter Rossetti when I was on the Board of Selectmen at one of these. I'm just getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Town Manager Scott Crabtree. Chairman of the School Committee, Serino. And I don't know if the rest of the school committee is here. John Hatch. Anybody here, Vinny? Stephanie Mastrocolo. Where's Stephanie? Okay, well, she's here. The others are Ryan Fisher, Tom Rittridge, and John Hatch. Police Chief Mike Riccadelli is out of town. He called me yesterday, said he wasn't going to be able to make it. Fire Chief Mike Newberry, I don't believe is here either. and our Veteran Service Officer, Paul Cancelleri. Thank you all for being with us today, as usual. I want to recognize the folks that put this together every year. Although I'm the one at the microphone, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes by the people that belong to the Veterans Council, and do all the work. First of all, as I mentioned, I'm the commander of the Saugus Veterans Council. I'm Captain Steve Castanetti, United States Navy, retired. Where's my mic? There we go. Keeps cutting out on me. My executive officer is Command Master Sergeant Bob O'Toole. Bob's been running around like crazy all morning here. Chaplain, as you all met, Lieutenant Colonel Bob LaRoe, U.S. Army retired. Sergeant Major Ken Oswald, I'm sure most of you know Sergeant Major. He was former Lynn English Marine Corps Junior ROTC. He is now my admin officer and recording secretary. General Andrea Gale Bennett from the Mass National Guard retired, is our public affairs office. David Savoy, who's over there with the rifle squad, does all of our social media. John McCarter is my adjutant. John is also the commander of the Saugus American Legion. Unfortunately, John is seriously under the weather right now, and he called me yesterday and he said, there's just no way that I can make it. So keep John in your thoughts today, because I know it's eating him up not to be here. My finance officer, Don Jacobs. My Graves registration officer is Randy Bryan. Commander of the DAV in Saugus, Nick Milo. Commander of the VFW, Post 2346, Keith McDonald. And finally, again, John McCarter, who's the commander of the American Legion, Post 210. If you look over behind most of you, you're going to see the media truck behind you. There's a lot of slides, and hopefully I'll put this all together for many of you that don't know what they're all about. On August 31st of 1924, Thomas Jerome Hudner Jr. was born in Fall River, Massachusetts. 1939, he went to Phillips Academy in North Andover. 1943, he went to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. Upon graduation, Tom wasn't interested in aviation, but after a while, his interest peaked, and he became a pilot flying Corsairs. In 1950, Tom arrived in October in Korea. 2 months later, 6 Corsairs launched from the aircraft carrier USS Lady and flew north to the Chosin Reservoir. With Lieutenant Hudner and his wingman, Ensign Jesse Brown, the Navy's first black aviator. Keep in mind, 1950, race relations weren't what they are today. So this was a big step forward. A white lieutenant and a black ensign flying side by side. Chinese forces were closing in on the 1st Marine Division at that time. So the 6 Corsairs went down to help the Marines. But during the mission, Ensign Brown's plane was shot down over the Chosin Reservoir. When he went down, Tom circled his plane around. Jesse waved up to him, so Tom knew he was alive, but he was trapped in the cockpit of that plane. Rather than let Jesse freeze to death without attempting to rescue him, Tom crashed his own plane in North Korea to attempt to rescue Jesse. From his Medal of Honor citation, it says, fully aware of the extreme danger in landing on the rough mountainous terrain and the scant hope of escape or survival in sub-zero temperature, he put his plane down skillfully in a deliberate wheels-up landing in the presence of enemy troops. With his bare hands, he packed the fuselage with snow to keep the flames away from the pilot and struggled to pull him free. Unsuccessful in this, he returned to his crashed aircraft and radioed other airborne planes requesting that a helicopter be dispatched with an axe and fire extinguisher. He then remained on the spot despite the continuing danger from enemy action, and with the assistance of the rescue pilot, renewed a desperate but unavailing battle against time, cold, and flames. Some 62 years later, in 2012, Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus bestowed a rare honor on an Andover alumnus by declaring that a naval destroyer now under construction at the Bath Iron Works in Maine would be named the USS Thomas Hudner. At that time, since the 1970s, only 11 vessels had been named for individuals who were living when the naming was announced. The following year, in 2013, Tom returned to North Korea to search for the remains of Ensign Jesse Brown. In 2014, on October 21st, a book about Captain Hudner's actions in North Korea called Devotion was published by Adam Makos. I brought a copy of the book with me. If anybody hasn't read it, it's a great read and it's an easy read. And Tom was from Massachusetts, and I think some of you may have met him here in Saugus. In 2017, in April, the USS Thomas Hudner, DDG 116, was christened at Bath Iron Works. And on November 13th, unfortunately, Captain Hudner passed away at home in Concord, Mass. At the age of 93. Captain Hudner was buried in Arlington National Cemetery on April 4th of 2018. On December 1st of that year, the USS Thomas Hudner was commissioned in Boston, Mass. On a frigid day, likely similar to the day when he crashed his plane in North Korea in an attempt to save his wingman and friend, Jesse Brown. If North Korea was anything like the day of that commissioning, thank God I wasn't there. That day was so cold, it was unbelievable. 4 years later, the movie Devotion was released. An epic story of heroism, friendship, and sacrifice by Adam Makos, which tells of the comradeship between naval officers Jesse L. Brown and Tom Hudner during the Korean War. 10 years ago today, or on our ceremony day, Captain Tom Hudner, Medal of Honor, United States retired, spoke at our ceremony right here in Saugus in front of Town Hall. If you see the pictures behind you, you'll now recognize Ensign Jesse Brown and Lieutenant Tom Hudner. And there's many pictures that Saugus TV, under the direction of John Pruden, put together to form that video. So please thank Saugus TV for all they do for us in this respect. Our keynote speaker today is Commander Shelby Nickerton, a native of Wakefield, Massachusetts, and a 2004 graduate of the College of the Holy Cross. She received her commission through the College of the Holy Cross Naval Reserve Officer Training program and earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Here comes the rain, guys, hold on. Commander Nickerton served as the electrical officer on USS Chosin and fleeted up to training officer. While aboard Chosin, she completed 2 Arabian Gulf deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Additionally, Commander Nickerton served in USS Spruance as the operations officer, completing the ship's maiden deployment to the 7th Fleet Area of Responsibility, and later served in Destroyer Squadron 1 as the N3 embarked on USS Carl Vinson in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. As executive officer on board USS Thomas Hudner, she completed her maiden deployment in support of Operation Inherent Resolve and Final Countdown. Most recently, she completed her command tour on board USS Thomas Hudner, where she deployed with the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and supported Operation Prosperity Guardian in the Red Sea. She has served with teams that won the Navy Unit Commendation, the Battle E, the Spokane Trophy, the Captain Edward F. Ney Award, and the Navy Expeditionary Medal. Commander Nickerton's personal awards include the Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal 4 awards, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal 3 awards, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal 2 awards, and various unit awards and campaign medals. Without further ado, hopefully before the rain gets here, please welcome Commander Shelby Nickerton, former commanding officer of the USS Thomas Hudner.
Good morning, fellow patriots. Thank you, Captain Castanetti, for the invitation to be here with all of you today to celebrate the brave men and women who have served in our nation's wars. Their sacrifices, courage, and unwavering commitment to our country have inspired generations hundreds of years later to continue to answer the call to serve with the same dedication and devotion to the mission. This is a very special year in our military history as we honor the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army, and most importantly, the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. As Captain Castanetti mentioned, we stand on the shoulders of giants, like Captain Thomas Hudner, who served with such distinction that the generations who follow are compelled to honor such an extraordinary legacy. Legends like the Kasabowski brothers, whose story lives on, bringing community together at the rink. While they paid the ultimate sacrifice for this great nation during World War II, their service is not forgotten. I, too, grew up skating on that rink, and I'm humbled to know I played a small role keeping their legacy alive. In fact, embedded in every veteran's service is a testament to those who have served before. Their legacy of service and sacrifice is upheld by all who take the time to come together at ceremonies and events like this today, even in the rain, ensuring their service and sacrifice lives on in all of us. The real-world events of the past 18 months further highlight the extraordinary legacy of service and sacrifice. After the events in Israel on October 7, 2023, followed quickly by the USS Carney engagements on October 19, 2023, the most intense combat engagement by a U.S. Navy warship since World War II, the dynamics of the Red Sea challenged the sea lanes of communication and the free flow of commerce. During a time of significant uncertainty, there was one ship that was called upon to sail into the combat zone with the threat of more attacks looming on the horizon. That ship was the mighty USS Thomas Hudner. The battle space in the Red Sea was congested, unpredictable, uncomfortably hot, infested with fleas the size of golf balls, and complicated by civilian presence and activity. For much of these stages of the conflict, Thomas Hudner operated alone inside the threat area surrounding the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Our primary focus was maintaining the sea lanes of communication and ensuring the safe passage of all ships transiting through the strategic waterway. Of note, 40% of the world's international trade passes through this waterway every year. As history tells us, sailing into gunfire is nothing new for the United States Navy, but for the crew of the USS Thomas Hudner, this was a first for many. In fact, most of the crew's complement was under 25 years old. Many were born after 9/11, and only a handful had seen a previous deployment. As young as they were ready for anything that came their way. Courage like that is not developed overnight, but rather the product of growing up in communities like this, where the value of service and sacrifice is upheld. In the early morning hours of our first engagement, the battle space was different. Activity in the area had shifted, and I was receiving more frequent reports from the Tactical Action Officer in the Combat Information Center. After a series of rapid-fire mandatory reports, he asked if I wanted him to keep calling, and I simply replied, "No need, I'm on my way down." What started off initially as a feeling of uncertainty was quickly vindicated with increased abnormal activity in the area. The rhetoric in the area was also becoming more hostile, especially in light of a recent USMQ-9 that was shot down just nights before. The sequence of events that unfolding leading up to the engagement was truly textbook. The coordination across theater assets and our ship was efficient and deliberate. It was clear the time was now. While our first mission reached its intended target, there was an insurmountable urge to chant, USA, but I thought it best to support my crew and remain calm. My mother would expect a graceful winner, and I did not want to disappoint. In the days and weeks that followed, there were more engagements, most notably on Thanksgiving morning, and more complex and dynamic mission sets would emerge. The crew safeguarded the ship and company against multiple rocket-launched one-way attack unmanned aerial vehicles, ballistic missiles, piracy operations, and boarding operations. Thomas Hunter superbly employed Thomas Hunter's weapon systems against airborne threats with zero damage to the ship, crew, or neutral shipping in the area. The crew also prevented civilian casualties from hostile action in Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, and Israel. As a combat team, Thomas Hunter was awarded 7 Combat Navy Commendation Medals, 10 Combat Navy Achievement Medals, the Combat Action Ribbon, and the Navy Unit Commendation for distinguishing themselves by outstanding heroism in action against enemy forces. To receive the Navy Unit Commendation, a crew must have performed service of character comparable to the Silver Star while acting uniformly as a team. Additionally, the crew was recently awarded the Navy Expeditionary Medal for engaging in operations against armed opposition. As a very proud captain of our combat-tested crew, I thank you again for inviting me to spend time with all of you today. It is a true honor to celebrate the victories of my crew with all of you while honoring the heroes of our past. Their service and sacrifice will truly never be forgotten.
Thank you, Commander. It doesn't look too good up there, but you know what? This little bit of a sacrifice getting wet doesn't hold a candle to all the people that sacrificed that you're honoring today. So let's suck it up and deal with it and hopefully get through this pretty quickly. All right. Who's doing the governors? She's got it. She is, okay. We have a citation from Governor Maura Healey. It will be read by Janeris Harrow, Saugus High School class of 2026.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope I have more luck with the mic than you have.
Want me to hold that?
Yes, please. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a proclamation. Whereas, while the nation was still recovering from the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the nation gathered to honor the soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day, and whereas, after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, is when people remember and honor the memory of all the men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas, throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts residents have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas, their legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas, it is appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who gave their lives, so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder to the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore I, Maura T. Healy, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 26, 2025 to be Memorial Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given that the Executive Chamber in Boston, this 26th day of May in the year 2025, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 248th, by Her Excellency Maura T. Healy, Kimberly Driscoll, and William Francis Galvin. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Outstanding job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will.
Janeris, come back for a minute. We're going to let you take that home as a memory today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. You did a great job. Oh, you have another? Not yet. Okay. They're on the way. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because all I have left is a fire is the deceased comrades. I can do that. Okay. As you all know, every year we recognize those veterans from Saugus who have passed over the previous year. This year, the following veterans have passed. Ronald Benevento, United States Navy, VFW. Harold Brennan. Edward Briggs, American Legion. Arthur Elwell. Walter Rick Florentino, United States Army and United States Air Force. Francis Gordon, VFW and American Legion. Kevin Hanlon. Richard Kilroy. Frank Ortisi. George Parrott. Carl Joe Saunders, Thomas Shea, American Legion, and Michael Spallone. If there's anyone else that I may have missed, feel free to come forward and announce their name if you'd like. I'm going to have a little bit of a burp in the program here because we're waiting for someone to come back with some items that need to be here in order to continue with that. So at this, oh, you got them? Perfect time. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to our Veteran Service Officer, Paul Cancelleri, with the Medals of Fidelity that he's going to provide today.
I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit to get us through. I'm going to bring both of our new Gold Star wives up with your families and the Gold Star wives. Please come to the podium. Maria Sousa and Ms. Raymond. Last year, Gold Star wife Dee Whittemore Ferris received the Medal of Fidelity on behalf of her late husband of 28 years. Everett F. Ferris, a disabled Vietnam veteran who passed away because of his wounds. A Gold Star wife, Dee inspired other spouses to seek the benefits earned from military service. The Massachusetts Medal of Fidelity is a state medal awarded to the next of kin of Massachusetts service members who die due to service-connected causes, including combat-related injuries, illnesses, and exposures to harmful substances. It's a way for the Commonwealth to acknowledge the honor and the sacrifices of these individuals and their families. Massachusetts is the only state in the Union that recognizes the sacrifices of families and service members who pass from service-connected disabilities. Today we honor 2 veterans who passed away as a result of service-connected injuries. Presenting these tributes are Commander Shelby Nickerton and Captain Stephen Castanetti. So I'm going to keep the citations.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Just do the medals only, so they don't get all wet. Sergeant Eugene William Sosa served with Company A, 2nd Battalion, 306th Airborne Infantry of the 101st Airborne Infantry Division from 12 December 1959 to November 27, 1968. His military service includes 2 tours in Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Infantry Division. Sergeant Sosa's decorations include the Bronze Star Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, and the Parachutist Badge. Eugene is a native of Portugal who loved his family. Eugene passed away on June 3, 1992, from lymphoma caused by his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. Receiving the Medal of Fidelity is Gold Star wife, Maria Sousa. Inspired by the late D. Whittemore Ferris, Maria and Eugene were married for 22 years. Next, we honor Corporal Ronald Bruce Raitman. Corporal Raitman served in the United States Marine Corps from June 30th, 1964 to April 23, 1970. Corporal Raitman served as an anti-tank assault man and a small arms technician. He was assigned to the 2nd Marine Division, Fleet Marine Force, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Corporal Raitman deployed to Vietnam, serving overseas for 13 months, where he received 2 Purple Hearts, the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the National Defense Medal, and a Good Conduct Medal. His exposure to both Agent Orange and toxic contaminants in the Camp Lejeune water supply led to his passing on June 24, 2007. Receiving the Medal of Fidelity is Gold Star wife Ellen Raitman, and Ellen and Ronald were married for 20 years. Thank you. Thank you for honoring the service of Sergeant Sosa and Corporal Raitman today. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. All right, now that it stopped raining, we can probably go on with the other 3 hours of this session, so. Just kidding. My pages are all stuck together, so we may not do that. Boy. I'll get to the right page eventually. Form the honor guard. Detail and salute. Anytime you're ready. cartridge. Prime and load. Full cock. Make ready. Take it. Fire. Recover. Poise your firelocks. Hey. Present arms. Hey. Hey. Order. Ho. 2. If you haven't replaced your flags yet, you can do that now. We've come to the end of our program. I want to thank all of you who came out and stayed through the rain and made a sacrifice today to remember those who made the sacrifice. Again, Memorial Day is Monday, but we always do ours on Saturday. Please remember Monday is a holiday. And again, time to remember those who have made that sacrifice. Every day should be Memorial Day. Chaplain, for the benediction, please. Uncover.
Receive now the benediction. Hello?
Did you hit the button?
No.
There you go, you're okay.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and give you peace, and give you peace, and give you peace forever.
Cover. 2. Thanks, Chaplain. Sorry about the mic. But we all know you have a nice voice, so don't worry about it. Folks, there's a lot of people that I need to thank today. First of all, I want to thank Win Waste Innovations. They are our major sponsor, our only sponsor, and without them, we would not be standing here today doing this ceremony. I have a loud voice. I may just go without the mic. I want to thank our Grand Marshal, Gene Decaro. Gene Decaro served during the Korean War, and he's only 95 years old. And he said, "Why did you pick me?" I told him I didn't vote for him, but everybody else did. I want to thank Beantown Advertising for the media truck. They donate that to us every year, and it certainly has added a something to our parade every year. If you haven't had a chance, check out some of those photos of Tom Hudner and Jesse Brown. There's a whole lot of interesting pictures. That's the guy that played Tom during in the movie. I want to thank Ben Rabinovitz from WMEX Boston. If you didn't know it, this parade was on live radio, and Ben has done this a couple years in a row now, so thanks to Ben. I want to thank our Gold Star wives and families, our keynote speaker, Shelby Nickerton, Commander United States Navy, Todd Angeli from the Boston Bruins. Thank all the members of the Veterans Council, the Parson Roby chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Saugus Everett Elks, the Lions Club, the Fox Hill Yacht Club, Saugus Police and Fire. A special thank you to John Prudent and Saugus TV for creating the 2 videos that you've seen on that truck over the last couple of years. He updates that for me every year, and this year we added the Tom Hudner one. I want to thank the Saugus Senior Center for allowing us to use their Senior Center van again this year to transport people back and forth. If you need a ride, check with him. If you need a ride out of here, he's going to be making the loop and bringing people back to Anna Parker or Veterans Park, wherever you parked. I want to thank all of our veterans that are here today. I want to thank the World War II reenactors, the Hingham Militia, and the Essex County Marine Corps League for our 21-gun salute. Thank you, guys. We had an addition to the parade this year that we never had before. I've been trying to get a bagpipe band for years. This year, the Stuart Highlanders Pipe Band added a touch to this parade that I want to keep going for a long time, thanks to the Highlanders. I also want to thank the other musical additions to our parade, the McGann Marching Band, Scott Elias and New England's Best DJs, and the Saugus High School Band. I want to thank all of our parade participants. I especially want to thank all the JROTCs from Lynn English High School, Beverly High School, Peabody High School, and Salem High School. Thanks to Guy Moley. Guy Moley supplies all the vehicles at the end of the parade. Cars, vintage cars, trucks, motorcycles, fire trucks. It gets bigger and bigger every year, so thanks so much to Guy Moley. I want to thank Randy Bryant and everybody that came out yesterday to flag the graves. Thanks to J&M Italian American Cuisine for providing the pizzas after the flagging yesterday. One person I recognize every year, many of you probably have noticed, is not with us today. Gordon Shepard, who I embarrass from here every year. I told him I was going to do it long distance. He had an accident in Florida, was unable to get home. So hopefully he'll be home next month, but it's going to be a while for him to recuperate. Also, I want to thank Town Manager Scott Crabtree for arranging for the cleanup and the grass cutting and whatever else, the porta potties that we don't usually have, but thanks for whatever you did for us for this year. And thank you to all of you who came out today to help us remember. When you leave the cemetery, if you go up the street to my left, on the left-hand side is the World War I memorial section. Farther up is the Civil War section. Please check those out as you go by, and remember the folks that are buried in those lots as well. And finally, the last thing I have, I found this, I believe I found it on Facebook the other day, and I thought it would be appropriate to end our ceremony today. Monday will be the most expensive holiday on the calendar. Every hot dog, every burger, every spin around the lake, or drink with friends and family is a debt purchased by others. This is not about all who served. That day comes in the fall. This one is in honor of those who paid in life and blood, whose moms never saw them again, whose dads wept in private, whose wives raised kids alone. And those kids only remember them from pictures. This isn't simply a day off. This is a day to remember that others paid for every free breath you ever get to take. Freedom. Thank you all, and have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for coming out.